Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com. The biggest moments.
One man to beat up the right sideline.
See ya, baby.
99-yard touchdown run.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships.
The biggest stories from area high school sports. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, here's Hunter Vaughn.
This is PrepMania Weekly here on ESPN Madison. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the man, the myth, the legend, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Dennis, we had another great week of high school sports from around the state. Much better football than what we saw at Camp Randall from the Badgers on Saturday. We're going to be talking about them as we'll have Nick Osen from 247 Sports to talk about the football recruiting, as they had a ton of recruits from around the country at Camp Randall for that game and the impact that that could have on the recruiting classes and all of the talk around Luke Fickell and what could come from high school recruiting around Badgers football. Plus, we'll be speaking to the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, coming up a little bit later on in this show as well. And as always here on PrepMania Weekly, we will also be going through our small, medium, and large school polls for our ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. But, Dennis, we're going to start it like we always do, looking back at the week that was. We'll start with the Badger Small Conference. And what were some games or some results that stood out to you from the Badger Small this past week?
Well, we had a great one. Mount Horeb-Barneveld at Stoughton, and we could see how good Mount Horeb-Barneveld is. In that game, we saw quarterback Brooks Hendrickson, lefty, throw 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. But the key was, I talked to him after the game for the Mount Horeb Mail, and he said that they had scripted 3 running plays with him in the option. If it was there, he was going to take it. His first play from scrimmage, he goes 10 yards. And most teams are saying, oh, he's afraid to run. He's just going to throw. We got to keep him in the pocket. And boom, that kind of set the tone for the game. And I thought Stoughton hung in there in the fourth quarter. They battled back. And I thought defensively, Mount Horeb-Barneveld had played a pretty good game because they held to Stoughton to, I think it was 33 yards rushing in the first half. But at the end, the coach goes, no, I thought it was one of our worst defensive performances, and because they gave up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And it's the old, you got to keep your foot on the gas kind of a thing. Well, also, he didn't want the guys celebrating too much because this week it's Sauk Prairie. And Sauk Prairie won 39-20 over Lakeside Lutheran. They had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, a blocked punt recovered in the end zone. And the guy that blocked the punt, Brian Brynick, it was his 18th birthday.
Wow.
How like that? And then on that same drive, he had a sack, and then he gets the block. And then they had a freshman who intercepted a pass, Bell, and ran back 32 yards for a touchdown. So that was a little bit closer game. But in that game, Owen Marty, who we saw in week number 1, who Lake Mills kind of held him in control, he had a 48-yard run in the first quarter. He went down, I thought, with an injury, and it was like, oh, no, you hate to see that for a senior. But I talked to Coach Dennis Leckwey, who we had on. We talked to a couple times. He goes, he is a tough kid. I said, what do you think? He goes, Coach, I'll be ready next week. You got that attitude. He
Perfect.
said, I think we kind of tweak an ankle, but so we'll look and see. Unfortunately for Lakeside, they're 0-5. But again, we've talked about them not, being in that conference with their size and everything. They'll be back in the Capitol next year. But right now, it's just trying to build some confidence and get a W. And it's been kind of tough for Lakeside. But again, Sauk didn't look ahead. I mean, they got that win. Now they have to go to Mount Horeb-Barneveld this week. And I'll be there actually for both newspapers since we got a Saturday game. I actually go to a game, and it'll be interesting to see from that perspective on the fan bases. And Mount Horeb-Barneveld swept last year. They won in the regular season, and then I think it was 36-6 first run of the playoffs. So, but that kind of set that up and with the Badgers Small. Meanwhile, Edgewood goes 5-0 with a win.
Yeah, they had the 28-16 victory over Portage this past week. So again, yeah, the Crusaders, they're 5-0. They're just scratching into the receiving some votes in our media poll this week. But it's been the same conversation when it comes to our media poll, where if you don't get that preseason top 10, it's really difficult to move in there unless you're just completely blowing teams out of the water every week and you're just all of a sudden getting headlines all over the place for what you're doing. Edgewood's doing great things. I would expect them to be able to get a win at Lakeside Lutheran this upcoming Friday night. They've got that a tough last 3 weeks of the season here when they host Stoughton, they go on the road to Mount Horeb Barneveld, and then they wrap up their season at home against Sauk Prairie. They win 2 of those 3 games. I think they get probably a 2 or a 3, kind of depending on the way things shake out for the postseason as far as seeding goes, and that's going to set them up really well, because then you look at if you're sitting there, you get a couple of games at home for the postseason.
At home, meaning
over at Breese Stevens Field, most likely, if they don't have events scheduled. That. For those that don't know, Edgewood does not have lights on their field. They can't host games then if obviously it is at night, because the community around Edgewood High School, for some ridiculous reason that I don't think actually holds up, they have said, no, we don't want the lights. So that forces then Edgewood to have to play at different stadiums and move around and things like that. So like they've played games at Loser Field in the past, a lot of them at Breese. They move all over the place.
Last week they had a 4:00 game at home.
Yep.
Had to play that one early. So our friend Jocko over at Channel 15, his kids went to Ezra like my son did. So he was over there for a double dipping, kind of got to watch the Crusaders. And that used to be the same thing when Darlington, the Redbirds, would play in the afternoon. And, you'd then go to another game, a doubleheader. That's great when you can see more games, bang for your buck. Now we get games on Thursday and like this week, Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the third week in a row, by the way, the Big Eight's having a Saturday game.
And it could just become a thing for the Big Eight. You get a Saturday primetime game. You're the only game in the conference going on. I know it's tough here in the Madison area when you've got the Badgers that play, but with the way they're playing, I mean, people want some good football somewhere. So why not turn to the Big Eight conference to see some sort of quality football, since you're not getting it at Camp Randall? I'm not upset about it at all, Dennis.
No, this week they got a bye, so that's
exactly.
Perfect. So
as again, Dennis hinted, we'll be at Middleton for the Middleton-Verona game this Saturday. That's a 7:15 kickoff. We'll still be on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel at 6:30 for that one, leading into the rivalry game between Middleton and Verona. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, going through some of the other games in the Badger Large. We had a great game down at Milton between Monona Grove and the Red Hawks of Milton. Monona Grove winning 36-29. They had another kick return for a touchdown. They had a 91-yard kick return for a touchdown. It's getting to the point where teams might just want to think about kicking out of bounds against Monona Grove, because you'd rather just give them the ball with some good field position than risk giving up a touchdown with the way their special teams has been. Oregon fell at DeForest 21-14. Then the rivalry between Sun Prairie West and Sun Prairie East. The Cardinals of Sun Prairie East handled the Wolves 37-13.
And in that game, some history was made.
Yeah?
Brady Kaufman he needed 107 yards rushing to become Sun Prairie East's all-time leading rusher. So what does he end up with? He scampered, in the third quarter for a 40-yard touchdown run. He finished with 204 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Not too bad.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And he'll get more yards here actually late in the season, just given the fact that you get up on these teams, they sit him down. He's not going to get quite as many carries. You get bad weather late in the season. They're going to want to run the ball more. So he's going to keep pushing that number higher and higher as his season goes on. Continuing on through some of the scores from this past week in the Big Eight, Madison East was shut out by Janesville Craig 41-0. Madison East just really struggling right now this year, have yet to get a score on the season, as again they were shut out. And then Verona put up 54 points on Madison La Follette, winning 54-21. Verona, that's a team, again, we'll see on Saturday as they take on Middleton, who's coming off of a win on homecoming over Janesville Parker, 13-0 for them. But the Saturday game last week between Memorial and West went into overtime with Madison West winning 27-21 in just an absolute thriller in that game. So Madison West, we talked about it a lot on this program. They didn't get into the postseason last year, should have gotten in. Now they're setting themselves to be in a really good spot to make a good case to be a postseason team.
Yeah, that was their first win, by the way, the region's first win over the Spartans since 2017. But the stud in that game was Jack McDonald, 8 receptions, 170 yards, and he ended up with 3 touchdown catches, including the one in overtime. So 27-21, that was a big win for the Regents. And again, you take a look at Memorial's kind of struggling at 0-5, but it's been a rebuilding year with all the seniors they lost.
Yeah.
They only had 3 returning starters. They're all playing different positions, and right now they're just kind of being a little bit outmanned. But they'll pick up a couple here, I think. They haven't played East. They haven't played La Follette yet. Matter of fact, this week is La Follette. No, West has got La Follette. They got Madison East. They're at Madison East, so sorry, Burgolders. I think Spartans are hungry. They want this one too. But I think they've done a good job over there. They'll bounce back.
Yeah, and then, like you said, for West, they set themselves up. They'll have La Follette here on Friday, and then they'll go to Verona, and then they finish at home the last 2 games of the season, hosting Janesville, Craig, as well as Middleton. So they're right in a spot where you get that win against La Follette. You've got 3 conference wins then. Really, if they can get themselves a 4th win out of those last 3, they'll be right in a spot where you would expect them to be able to get into the postseason. I know, though, they would love to just be able to run the table, go through regular season with just 2 losses, having a 1-point loss to Janesville Parker, and then that loss to a really good Brookfield East team in week 2. So Madison West, the team to kind of keep our eyes on here. I think they might be one of those teams, they just kind of do what DC Everest did this last year, where they got in as a 7 seed, they played in a tough conference, lost some games they maybe shouldn't have early in the year, and then all of a sudden they make a run and they're playing at Titan Stadium against the eventual state champions Bayport in level 4.
Yeah.
So that's the type of team West feels like. I'm not saying that, they're absolutely a level 4 team, they're a state semifinal team, but I think they're the type of team that can cause a lot of headaches with some matchups for teams. They get that right spot and the right seating come postseason time. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, you and I are traveling somewhere for a Madison West playoff game.
Yeah, and what makes that one a little more special is Mike Wolfgram, the head coach, is a grad of West. He's in the building now, and a lot of his coaches are former Regents. And last week they beat Memorial 27-21, and then overtime. That was for the Bert Hobley clipboard. And this goes back to Hobley, the Hall of Fame coach. Somehow the clipboard has disappeared. I remember when I was...
It's like the slab of bacon.
Yeah, when I was with the Cap Times and with the State Journal, we kept track of that every year, who won, and that was always one of our games to watch. And somehow, maybe during the pandemic or something, it disappeared. The coaches want to create another one. They still celebrate bragging rights, the West Side, East Side Pride, West Side Pride. So I knew that was going to be a close game, and for Memorial, that was kind of a heartbreaker. Trying to get their first win, but it shows, the West that, teams, if they want to get to the playoffs, they got to learn how to win the tough games. And West has lost a 1-point game this year, but then to come back and win in overtime, that's how you build programs.
Yeah, and then one other team that I wanted to talk about from this past week is the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers. For those of you who are on the Daily Dodge YouTube channel, might be a little confused why you're getting an ESPN Madison show. We wanted to because we're talking about a lot of the area teams. Columbus we'll talk about a little bit later on in this program with our high school sports coverage here in Madison. Give you guys some extra high school sports coverage here on the Daily Dodge YouTube channel. The Golden Beavers got a 37-0 win over Kettle Moraine Lutheran last Friday, where Parker Blank, he ran for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also threw a 69-yard touchdown pass in that game as well. The Golden Beavers cruised to a victory. They had a tough couple of games with that loss to Sauk as well as Mount Horeb and Menominee Falls. This is a really good Beaver Dam team that I think is going to be able to make a run here all the way through their last game of the season. They play a top 10 team in our media poll in Plymouth, but I think that's a possibility for a conference championship game for them.
Well, and last year they're having to be in the East Central. Next year they come back to the Badger Large.
Yeah, they come back home.
We're going to back home, man.
Yes.
Which is where they belong. And
absolutely.
And but again, if you get a chance to catch them on Daily Dodge and hear Wade Bates or hear Mike Thronson, any of the guys over there, I mean that's a really good program. Coach Lindy's Brock has done a great job over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be talking more about some East Central games, as we'll be now on the Daily Dodge YouTube channel as well here, Dennis. I just wanted to give you that little surprise that we're not just on one YouTube channel. We're on two, on the ESPN Madison and the Daily Dodge YouTube channel. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. When we come back, we will unveil our small school media poll for this 5th week of the high school football season here on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel and the Daily Dodge YouTube channel.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
The team at Midwest Financial Group are values-based financial specialists that offer full-service financial solutions. This local independent firm has been dedicated to helping people achieve their financial, tax, and insurance goals for over 30 years. Visit mfgteam.com to learn more about how they can help set up your future for financial success. Advisory service is offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
At Siding Unlimited, we're really excited for the fall season. Not only are we proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, we are also fired up for an exciting fall season cheering on football and volleyball. If that's not enough, we're really excited to share with you that Siding Unlimited is Wisconsin's best window and door installation team. Siding Unlimited is a Pella Platinum Premier National Contractor of the Year award winner 5 times. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Striving for excellence is exactly what we do.
Our suite of master craftsmen ensure every roof we install will last.
We believe in giving you exceptional results.
And the satisfaction and durability you want with your suite of metal roof.
I'm Mike.
And Mary Suita. Enjoy the long-lasting architectural strength and beauty of a Suita metal roof.
SWITA metalroofing.com.
Suita Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right, you want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Start your career where the road to success is paved in coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts, we're now hiring crew members and hourly shift leaders at our locally owned locations. Dunkin' offers flexible schedules, employee discounts, health and dental benefits, and paid time off. Plus, bolster your resume with our own leadership training program and even scholarship opportunities. Up to $1,500 per semester. Text Team Spirit to 85000 or visit teamtmart.com/careers to apply. Dunkin', America runs on you.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Yeah, it's over, I'm circling these boxes, got me praying, man, this hunger, I'm feeling something rotten,
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. And we're again presented by Zimbrick Honda. They've been a part of the Madison community since 1973. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at two convenient Madison service locations. One on Fish Hatchery Road and the other on Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires at Zimbrick Honda? Buy 3 tires and get the 4th for how much, Dennis?
$1.
That's right, just $1. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda. It's now time for the small school poll for week 5 of our ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. Again, these are schools with an enrollment of 329 and smaller. As we begin at number 10, and we have a new team this year in the media poll. We saw them last year in the small school, but the Blue Jays of Cambridge checking in at number 10. They got 9 points, but that was just enough to edge out Stratford to get that number 10 spot. The Blue Jays, they're 5-0, coming off of a 36-0 win over Waterloo.
Yeah, they've been progressing. I've been watching them all year long, 5 straight wins. And last week, Owen Nellis, 25 carries, 265 yards, 4 touchdowns. Only attempted 3 passes, and then completed them all, but just enough to keep the defense a little bit honest. But definitely the Cambridge squad, I'll tell you, that's a team last year, they got upset in the first round of the playoffs. So they're kind of putting a little chip on their shoulder, but good to see them in the top 10.
They are 5-0 with Manitowoc Lutheran then at number 9. They were number 10 last week, so moving up 1 spot are the Lancers, and they're coming off of a 51-13 win at Horicon Hustisford, and that puts them at number 9. Up to number 8, Potosi Cassville. They're coming off of a 60-0 win at Boscobel.
Yeah, and that kind of looming up on the schedule the last week of the regular season. That's when they get Blackhawk Warren.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about them in just a minute.
Oh, well, literally next at number 7, Blackhawk Warren in at number 7. They stay put at 7. That's where they were last week. And they had a 62-22 win over Iowa Grant. And again, massive game between Blackhawk Warren and Potosi Cassville. Conference title game. I mean, potentially a 1 seed in the playoffs for the winner of that game. So a lot on the line for that final game of the regular season between Blackhawk Warren and Potosi Cassville.
They scored 139 points the last 2 weeks. This is not 8-man football they're playing, where you expect scores in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They're just cruise control right now.
Yeah, and they're running the wing tee. That's what most of these small schools run,
do, yeah.
And they can just put up a bunch of points on some of these teams. Boyceville is still in at number 6. They had a shutout of 45-0 at Clear Lake. And then Kenosha St. Joseph Catholic, again, getting a number 1 vote. They didn't get one last week. They were still at number 5, whether they had it or not, but they got a vote for number 1. Did Kenosha St. Joseph Catholic, and they had another shutout this week of 38-0 against Brookfield Academy. Then at number 4, the Regis Ramblers, they stay put at 4. They had a 35-6 win against Durand, Arkansas, and that's, by the way, for those that don't know, I love this. Durand, Arkansas, not spelt like the state, it's spelt like the tool at the end, S-A-W.
Yes. And I'll tell you, you're looking at that, they gave up 3 straight shutouts. They gave up 6 points. What happened to the defense? Hey, guys. Yeah, well, he scored 35 points, so they didn't want to play running clock. They made sure they kept that game going.
Then at number 3, Grantsburg didn't get a first place vote this week like they did last week, but it didn't matter. They won 64-0 in their game. That's back-to-back weeks with a shutout for the Pirates of Grantsburg. Number 2, Darlington, a team that Dennis talked about earlier in the show, getting 2 first place votes again this week. They had a 49-13 win over Benton, Scales Mound, Schulberg. Dennis, I'm going to ask you, don't answer, but then I want our producer, Owen, as well, to get in my ear and tell me if he knows. Do you guys know the mascot of Benton, Scales Mound, Schulberg?
Nope. Sorry.
Owen? Owen's guess was a minor. It is not. They are the Zephyrs.
Zephyrs.
Do either of you know
yes.
what a Zephyr is?
It's a train.
Exactly. It is a train, which I think is far
That's
better
right. I remember
than a
from
Boilermaker.
from basketball season, yeah.
Okay.
That comes from Benton, yeah.
Yeah, I just love that, so I needed to share that with everyone else. I know I'm a loser. I'm a nerd. I find that entertaining.
This week they got Fenimore 3-1. That's a big one in the conference. Belleville's still unbeaten in conference play down the road, but right now those are the only 2 teams that are going to keep them from being unbeaten.
Absolutely. So we will be keeping our eye on Darlington, as again they are in at number 2. And number 1, yet again, Edgar, 10 first place votes. Unless something catastrophic happens with that team, I expect them to stay number 1 throughout the season. They've only allowed 12 points in 5 games this year.
3 shutouts. It's incredible. And they've got, what do they got this week? Assumption this week, 2-1 in the conference. Abbotsford 3-0 down the road. It's still unbeaten in the league. So those are 2 teams that they'll keep an eye on. But again, 134, that's enough when you shut everybody out, right? Just enough points to keep the fans happy. And the 11, because Darlington and Grantsburg, I mean, they've got their fans too. And but I don't know if Edgar keeps shutting everybody out, I'm going to say maybe they deserve all the first place votes.
Yeah, definitely. It's again, we keep talking about it when it comes to this. We'll see some movement here just naturally because of Potosi Cassville and Blackhawk Warren will play each other. But really, unless somebody slips up here, you're not going to see a ton of movement when it comes to the small school poll. Was there anybody that was surprising to you? Is there a team that received votes? Stratford was 1 point off from getting that number 10 spot. New Glarus had 6 points. You need the way that the voting works, or the point system works, as I refer to those. For those that don't know, a first place vote, that school gets 10 points, then 9 points for a second place, going all the way down to number 10. You get 1 point, and then the teams with the most points are the ones that then get the higher ranking. So Cambridge got 9, they're at number 10.
I got one for you. Mondovi Buffaloes.
That is a team. Mondovi got 3 points. They tied with Pepin Olma with 3 points. That would have put them at 14th. They would have been tied for here in our poll. So that we did see them last year in the small school.
Right, 5-0, 3-0 in conference. October 3rd, Regis. Keep an eye on that game down the road. So for Regis to maintain, I'm sure you can't look ahead, guys. You got to go week to one. As they say, just go 1-0 every week, and all of a sudden you're 9-0 in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Again, that is our small school media poll for week 5, recapping everything. Cambridge coming in at number 10, the first appearance of the year for the Blue Jays of Cambridge. Number 9, Manitowoc Lutheran. Number 8, Potosi Cassville. Number 7, Blackhawk Warren. At 6 was Boyceville. Number 5, Kenosha St. Joseph, getting a first place vote and staying at number 5. Then number 4, the Ramblers from Regis. Number 3, the Grantsville Pirates. Number 2 with 2 first place votes, the Darlington. And then number 10, staying put at number 1, was Edgar. That was our small school media poll. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we will hear from our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. We're also brought to you by Madison College. They've been around for over 100 years right here in our community. They've grown to 7 campuses all across South Central Wisconsin, including 3 in Madison. Whether you're starting fresh or leveling up your career, Madison College is here for you. Learn more at madisoncollege.edu. That's madisoncollege.edu. Again, our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is next here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's a home run! But wait, is your roof ready for the big league storms? If your roof has more holes than a catcher's mitt, it's time to bring in the pros. At Avondale Roofing, we've been handling leaks, repairs, and full replacements with major league precision for over 30 years. And as a GAF Master Elite certified contractor, we bring top-tier quality and proven performance to every job. Whether it's a quick patch-up or full upgrade, our team steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the park every time. You're out! Don't wait till water's in your dugout. Call Avondale Roofing today and keep your home in the win column.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruberg Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruberg Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
We love the Packers. We bleed green and gold. And every time our team takes the field, well, it's pure football bliss. If only there was a way to experience that blissful winning feeling every day. At Associated Bank, we've got you with 10% off Lambeau concessions and 15% off Pro Shop merch. All when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank. It's how Packers fans keep winning on game day and every day. Associated Bank, Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. And it is now time for our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, as the Dean sat down with Waunakee football player McCoy Smith, who is this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Our ESPN Madison UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, McCoy Smith, Wanakee High School. Welcome.
Thank you.
3-sport athlete. You did track for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you're a state wrestler.
Yep.
And in football, you got to go to the Cole Center twice and Camp Randall. That's got to be pretty awesome for a high school student.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Like, you look up at Camp Randall, you look up on like the third deck and you see all your family up there and everything. And like the big stadium, if something happens, really cool because like the whole crowd will get into it, and definitely a lot of fun.
You're being recruited, and you're looking to play college, and you find out the Badgers have camp and they want you to play fullback.
Yeah.
You've never done fullback before. How do you prepare for something like that? How did it work for you?
I really had no idea what was going to be going on going in, but I had my head coach, Coach Graver, and some other coaches. They came out to the field, they helped me out, like showed me how to get in a fullback stance, just so I knew a little bit of what I was supposed to do, and then kind of winged it, and it went well.
Other activities you're involved in, a lot in school.
Yeah. So we got NHS, DECA, FCA, or I should say,
Fellowship.
Fellowship Christian Athletes, and then just like clubs like that, pretty much.
You've done some youth coaching too?
Yeah. So we had like passing league and kind of anything to help out the kids, and then sometimes like I know my girlfriend's little brother's in the program, so I went out here a few times with him, give him a few pointers and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure those guys look up, wow, this is a high school guy, and Friday nights. What was it like when you were growing up here? Did you have a guy that you kind of emulated, or did you watch the games, or were you just kind of like running around playing football behind the bleachers?
A little bit of both. I mean, there's definitely some names that'll stick with me, for sure. I mean, it was definitely cool. Like you see, and then you'd like see them walking around town sometimes, and it's kind of cool just to see them. At least when I was young, because like those were like my heroes or whatever at the time.
When you look back on your time here at Wanakee, you still got your senior year, but what do you think you remember most about the school, the community?
I'll definitely just remember like about the school and the community. I mean, the one thing I'll take with me is walking out on a game day. I know it's not as much to do with the school, but you walk out and you have the whole town backing you, and just like that feeling of everyone here to support you, walking out on Warrior Stadium. And then also, like, something I'll take with me from the school is how nice everybody is, and like the teachers and that kind of thing.
So Warrior for life?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, our ESPN Madison UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, McCoy Smith, Wanakee High School. McCoy, have a great senior year.
Thank you.
Again, that was our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, McCoy Smith from Wanakee High School. Coming up a little bit later on in the program at 7:15, we're going to be joined by the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, as he gets ready for a rivalry game against the Verona Wildcats. And then at 7:30, we're going to be joined by Nick Osen of 247 Sports. I know some people call it 24/7. It is 247. We're going to talk some Badger football recruiting. They had a bunch of recruits out at Camp Randall for that embarrassing loss to Maryland. So we're going to talk to him about some of the impact that game might have had, as well as some of the hypotheticals of what could happen around Badger recruiting and recruiting going forward at the high school level. So you'll want to stick around for that. But up next, we will have our medium school poll for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll right here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on the ESPN Madison YouTube channels and the Daily Dodge YouTube channel.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Looking for the perfect pizza meal just for you? Introducing Pizza Hut's new personal pizzas, the Crafted Flats. 5 bold, hand-stretched personal pizza recipes. 3 cheese, pepperoni duo, the ultimate, and for a limited time, Nashville hot chicken and chicken bacon ranch. All just $5 each, all day. The perfect pizza deal for lunch, dinner, or on game days. Order your $5 Crafted Flats at one of their locations or online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Striving for excellence is exactly what we do.
Our suite of master craftsmen ensure every roof we install will last.
We believe in giving you exceptional results.
And the satisfaction and durability you want with your suite of metal roof.
I'm Mike.
And Mary Suita. Enjoy the long-lasting architectural strength and beauty of a Suita metal roof.
SWITA metalroofing.com.
Suita Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Meet Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 9/30/2025.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
But not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly continues on. I'm Hunter Vaughn. Alongside me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We're also brought to you by Pizza Hut, and they're introducing their new handcrafted personal flats pizzas. Enjoy bold recipes like Nashville Hot Chicken, Pepperoni Duo, 3 Cheese Ultimate, and Chicken Bacon Ranch. $5 each all day. Order online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, the official pizza of PrepMania. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Dennis, we did the small school poll. Now it's time for our medium school poll. These will be schools that have an enrollment of 330 up to 899. We begin down at number 10, and it is the Plymouth Panthers again. Last week was their first appearance in the medium school media poll, and they stay place at number 10 after a 40-7 win against Watertown. Mentioned it at the beginning of the show, though. They've got that huge matchup at the end of the season against Beaver Dam that could potentially be for a conference title.
First of all, they got to get through Port Washington this week. That's another biggie. Then.
Yep.
Those two communities aren't that far apart. I was still in Fredonia over there, so that's a good rivalry.
It definitely is. Baldwin-Woodville, again, at number 9 this week. They're back to their 40-plus scoring ways after a 54-13 win against Somerset. So they've won 5 games. 4 of them they've scored 40 or more points. That has Baldwin-Woodville.
I want them on my fantasy team.
At number 8, the Columbus Cardinals checking in at 8, just edging out Baldwin-Woodville for that number 8 spot by 2 points after a 63-0 win at Bigfoot. They only threw the ball 10 times, but Columbus had 3 touchdowns off of those 10 passes.
Yeah, Peyton Powers was hurt a few weeks ago, and
it's not looking like it now.
Aquinas game, and he came back with against 42-7 over Lodi. 64 points against Horicon Hustisford, and now you look at what they put up, another 63. So that's that Lake Mills Columbus game. Oh man, I don't know where we're going to be, but I want to clone myself to be there for that one.
Well, good news is, as we're streaming on the Daily Dodge YouTube channel, Daily Dodge scheduled to be there from what I understand. So we'll be able to monitor that game still, as they will have that game against Lake Mills, a team I think should be in the top 10. I am not a voter in our media poll. Dennis is, though, so I keep influencing him to try and bump up Lake Mills higher and higher because I think they're that good, as they were number 11. But continuing on through our medium school top 10, number 7, Racine St. Catherine's, getting 30 points, just getting ahead of Columbus by 2. They had a 21-0 win against Martin Luther, and Lamont Hamilton had 165 receiving yards and a touchdown in that 21-0 win for the Angels.
It could come down to week 9 on the 17th of October. Charlene Lutheran, 4-1, 3-0 in the conference. That could be for the conference title.
As we continue on at number 6, the Blackhawks of Grafton. They had a 44-8 win at South Milwaukee. It's only the 3rd time this year that they have allowed, it is the 3rd time this year, that they've allowed just a single score in a game.
Yeah, they got Greenfield this week, who's unbeaten in conference, and then Greendale at the end of the season. So we'll keep an eye there on Grafton.
At number 5, haven't moved for much of the season as the Winneconne Wolves, as they're at number 5. They had a 42-0 win at Shawano. Their big test is coming up in a couple of weeks here, early in October, as they take on Fox Valley Lutheran, a team that's received some votes here in our media poll, but that's going to be a big game for the Winneconne Wolves to see where they are at this year. Number 4, Aquinas. They received 1 first-place vote. They're just rolling. They're 5-0. Looking ahead at their schedule, I don't know if there's another game until the postseason.
The 10th, West Salem, 3-0 in the conference. That's probably the team that might have a chance, but the way they're rolling right now, they got a chance to go through unbeaten again in the conference.
Yeah, and that's where it's, again, Aquinas, they've just kind of turned into a machine there in that lacrosse area. We expect them to regularly at least get through to level 3 of the playoffs. Then at number 3, Catholic Memorial getting another first-place vote again this week. They had a 37-7 win as they were hosting New Berlin West. They held the Vikings, Dennis, to 1.9 yards per carry on the ground in that game. You can't win a football game at any level if you're doing that.
Just ask the Badgers.
Exactly. Just ask the Badgers. As we continue on through our medium school media poll, I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. At number 2, the Rice Lake Warriors, Dennis, only getting 4 first-place votes. They had been our number 1 team in the medium school poll since the preseason. They had 8 number 1 votes last week. They won 38-22 over Chippewa Falls. Their quarterback Grant Paholke only threw 2 passes in that game. They got the win, but they fell to number 2. And then at number 1, Green Bay Notre Dame after a 42-7 win over an 0-5 Manitowoc Lincoln. Dennis, can you explain this to me? If you don't mind, you are a voter in this. What did you have 1 and 2, and what do you think the voters saw between these two teams?
I like Notre Dame. They've scored 40 points 4 weeks in a row. Max Pierce, their quarterback, 7-10, 2 touchdowns. And again, Kingston Allen, I really like his game. And I've been a big fan of Notre Dame ever since I saw him against Mount Horeb Barneveld in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and just a great program. And I covered their basketball team too in the winter, a couple of tournaments. So that's a factory over there.
It is, but on the other side of this, Dennis, Rice Lake, the defending Division II runner-up, they lost the D2 title game last year by a point. They beat Chippewa Falls on Friday, who's a playoff team. That's a good program, and they're a better team than an 0-5 Manitowoc Lincoln team. So I don't understand what our voters were doing here.
It's a coin flip when you get up to number 1 and 2 on both those teams. I think they're both potential state champs. And again, I've seen more of Notre Dame, even though I've seen Rice Lake over the years. I've just become a little bit more of a fan of their program. So, but again,
so you gave them the nod.
So I gave them the nod this week. That was the first time though, and again, it was just 4 straight, and they just keep, I think, getting better and better. Again, losing Christian from last year, their running back. I don't know, kind of a gut feeling. It's just like, I finally got Lake Mills in my poll 2 weeks ago, a little bit 2 weeks late, but and I keep trying to move them up a little bit because I see. But again, we've got some great games, and you got Notre Dame gets to play Oshkosh North end of the season, and then Rice Lake. Also the same thing. They've got a big game in week 9 as well.
Yeah, and that last game of the season for Notre Dame against Oshkosh North, they're going to be going up against one of the better quarterbacks in the state, Bryce Ott. Really great basketball player. You and I saw him in the 608 tournament a few years ago, and then at the Kohl Center last year when Oshkosh North made it. So that's going to be a really big test for them, and we've talked about it a lot. That's what these coaches want. They don't want to have those cakewalk games, even though Brian Bulaga said on Green Bay Game Day to Alex Strofe, no football game is a cakewalk game. But you want those tests late in your season, get your guys playing a full 4-quarter football game before you go into the postseason, where then if you're having to rest guys or you feel like you want to rest guys late in the season, they're not going to be used to playing all 4 quarters.
Well, that's where I think a Middleton and a Verona have gotten hurt in the playoffs the last few years, playing a couple of Madison schools or Janesville that have been down, and those last 3 weeks, maybe they haven't gotten that push while we're going to win the game. You can't turn the switch on and off no matter what level you're on. And while you want to make sure you're playing a lot of players and keeping your players fresh for the playoffs, it's all about competition and making sure that you got that mindset, that winning mindset going. And they're kids. I mean, I hate it when I hear people booing high school kids or
that's ridiculous. College kids, college teams, certain college coaches that might coach here in Madison. I get it.
As you go up the food chain, and now with the money involved and everything else. But they're going to make mistakes too. Yeah. And anytime you're dealing, it's all the coaches I talk to. I'm dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-olds. I don't know if, that's why it's important to have the high school coach in the building.
Yep.
You don't know if they had a bad day, a bad class, or a teacher didn't get along with, or they had a fight with, their girlfriend or something like that. And it's, that's what makes high school sports so fun. You never know. Mm-hmm. You can say, okay, this is supposed to be a cakewalk, but
yeah, you absolutely never know. As again, recapping our top 10 for the medium school media poll here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. The Plymouth Panthers in at number 10 again. Baldwin Woodville, number 9. Number 8, Columbus. Number 7, Racine St. Catharines. Number 6, the Blackhawks of Grafton. Then at number 5, the Winneconne Wolves. Number 4, getting one first place vote was Aquinas. Number 3, Catholic Memorial, also getting a first place vote. And then the Rice Lake Warriors were number 1. They are now dethroned, even after a win, by Notre Dame, who then takes the number 1 spot in their first time this year, getting that number 1 spot. And in Team Dennis, we keep talking about, and I'm going to keep bringing them up in this medium school poll, Lake Mills, the L-Cats. They came in off of the points at number 11 as they had 13. Plymouth had 22, and we've been doing this every time we talk about Lake Mills. Before we talk about them, what's our Tyler Woline update?
Well, he was 8 of 14, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. So that makes him 79 of 105. 1,409 yards. He's averaging 19.3 yards a catch. 22 touchdowns. Zippo, baby, interceptions. I hope it doesn't jinx him for next week.
Dennis, we've been talking about it for 5 weeks in a row. At this point, I don't think the broadcaster's jinx is going to get us.
Well, he's thrown to 15 different receivers. 10 different receivers have caught touchdown passes. Now, they've passed as a team with a couple other guys throwing some passes over almost 1,500 yards and rushing 643. But Tyler's only had 10 carries for 33 yards. A dual-threat quarterback that doesn't have to run, that's saving his legs for later in the season when they're going to really need him, probably when you get to the playoffs, and it might not be as easy to pass, and that threat's still going to be there. But right now, again, 15 different receivers. That's incredible, which means with the blowouts, they're getting credit to the coach. He's getting those younger guys out there, catching how many of these guys caught their first pass this year? With the thrill of that. And if it's a touchdown, I saw
and most of them they've had a touchdown.
The tight end we had last week for Mount Barneveld caught one. He's had 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 2 catches. Mm-hmm. I saw a couple weeks ago Sauk Prairie, same thing. First catch was a touchdown. That's a thrill for these kids. So the more guys get to play, and I'm a big fan of you got the running clock, but get all those guys in and get them some reps because that's experience they need.
Definitely. Any other thoughts on our medium school poll here, Dennis? Any teams that you think maybe should be a little bit higher or you had a little bit lower compared to where the rest of the voters did?
I think, again, Edgewood, we talked about the 5-0, but their strength of schedule doesn't match up with some of the other teams.
Not yet. End of the season.
We'll see toward the end of the season. But that's a team we got to keep an eye on. And Holman, I really like Holman. They're 5-0. I've seen them. They beat Reedsburg last week, 22-21. That I thought was a pivotal game in the Mississippi Valley. And I
Holman's a large school team as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they just got into. Yes, we'll be talking about them a little bit later on. Spoiler alert: they came in at number 12 of our large school poll. Yeah, Holman's one of those. They were right on that edge of medium or large, and they got in.
That's right. We got these teams playing across divisions.
Yes,
that one's that one, and I think. Mayville's another team to keep an eye on. They beat Campbellsport 42-0. But I think Mount Howard Barneveld, now 4 wins in a row after that loss to Grafton. They've just gotten better and better. But again, a big test this week with Sauk Prairie.
Yeah, definitely a test, and we'll really know where Mount Horeb Barneveld is this year again after they fell to a top 10 team in number 6 Grafton at the beginning of the season. That was your medium school poll here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We're also brought to you by Gruber Law Offices, and they have a reputation for winning. Their experienced, powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until they win your case. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. One call, Dennis.
That's all.
That's right. After a short break, we will have our large school poll here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Also, coming up in this second hour of the show, we'll be joined by Joe Poehls, the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, as well as Nick Osen of 247 Sports to talk some Badgers football recruiting with Dennis and I. All of that and PrepMania on deck to wrap up our show. So, what I'm going to ask from our fans who are watching on the YouTube channel right now, whether it's Daily Dodge or ESPN Madison, comment below and tell us what game or event you want the Dean and I to talk about to wrap up the show. It doesn't necessarily have to be football. A couple weeks ago, we had someone text in asking us about Edgewood and what we thought they could do this year. But if there's a volleyball tournament, a cross-country tournament, anything like that that's going on in high school sports, comment below. The Dean and I will talk about it to wrap up our show on PrepMania on deck. So comment below on those. We'll get to those to wrap up our show as well. Hour 2 of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly starts in 2 minutes here on ESPN Madison and the Daily Dodge YouTube channel.
The team at Midwest Financial Group are values-based financial specialists that offer full-service financial solutions. This local independent firm has been dedicated to helping people achieve their financial, tax, and insurance goals for over 30 years. Visit mfgteam.com to learn more about how they can help set up your future for financial success. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor.
When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right, you want to meet with Nesta Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout, Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie, and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
The biggest moments.
One man to beat up the right sideline.
See ya, baby.
99-yard touchdown run.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships.
The biggest stories from area high school sports. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, here's Hunter Vaughn.
Hour 2 of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly continues. I am Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Zimbrick Honda's been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Browse their car selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda. It's now time for Dennis and I to unveil the large school media poll here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Again, the large schools in our media poll are going to be schools with an enrollment of 900 students or above. We begin at number 10 this week, and it's the same as last week's. The Lake Geneva Badgers. Oh. They had a 33-6 win over Elkhorn.
Who says the Badgers had a bad week last week?
Well, Lake Geneva Badgers did. Wisconsin Badgers.
Matt O'Grady, again, great performance. 1 out of 2. It was a 68-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Corba, but he had 13 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. They just keep running the ball. And still that, being a Madison area fan and with Wanakee and all the local teams, it's still painful to watch what they did to Wanakee in the title game 2 years ago. Just crush that run game, and that's what they've been doing. Last week was the first time they didn't score 40 points, though. They had only 33. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. It was 26-0 at halftime, and I think they took their foot off the gas in a second. But keep an eye on the Badgers again. That's a great team.
Definitely. At number 9, the Pirates of Bayport. They had a 53-0 win against Ashwaubenon. Their big test, though, is going to be October 10th as they take on the Phantoms of West De Pere, a team we're going to talk about a little bit later on here. At number 8 is Hamilton. They survived a little bit of a scare against Germantown, a 23-21 victory for Hamilton, but they're in at number 8 again after that win against Germantown.
Well, they got a couple tough ones coming up this week. It's Marquette, who's always a great program, and then they get Arrowhead coming in one of those crossover games that count in the standings.
Definitely. We're going to see a lot of movement here these last few weeks, I think, when it comes to the large school poll. Then at number 7 is Homestead, as Homestead had a 56-14 win against West Bend East. Again, October 10th, a lot of teams, some big games coming up on October 10th. Homestead will host Slinger, the defending D2 champions. Slinger still a really good team. They had an early loss in their season, but Slinger then in coming to Homestead, or going over to Mequon to take on Homestead. So Homestead in at number 7. Number 6, the Kimberly Papermakers. They shut out Appleton East 46-0. They're 4-1 on the season, but that one loss they had came week 1 against Hamilton. So the voters still feeling really good about the Papermakers, even though they did lose to a team that's below them.
Yeah, they got Nina and Appleton North on their schedule coming up in October, so those are 2 big ones in the season. We talk about having to play good teams before the playoffs. They'll be playoff tested by then.
Definitely, and Nina's a team that came in at number 11, receiving 16 votes, and then Appleton North getting 2 votes as well still from some of our voters. So 2 really great programs that Kimberly will see. At number 5 was our unanimous number 1 from last week. The Arrowhead. They were number 1. They lost 21-17 to Muskego. They do have some chances, though, coming up, as they've got McWanago, as well as Dennis mentioned, they will host Hamilton, too. So Arrowhead, a chance to still make some moves here, move up from number 5 again. But Arrowhead, again, falling on Friday to Muskego in that one. At number 4, West De Pere. Their offense just keeps rolling with Patrick Greason at quarterback. They're 5-0. They had a 52-9 win over Pulaski. And number 3, getting 1 first-place vote after beating the number 1 team in the state 21-17 is Muskego. And, I really think, Dennis, they're being really punished for that 1-point loss week 1 to Nina. I think Muskego is maybe better than Wanakee, who is number 2. They had a 59-0 win against Fort Atkinson. And then at number 1 with 8 first-place votes was Franklin, 45-10. They had 3 defensive touchdowns and 2 punt return touchdowns this year. Franklin, a really good all-around complete team. I think Muskego should be right up there with Franklin, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you look at that Muskego Arrowhead game. That was the final was the halftime score.
Yep.
That was a slugfest, and our Jesse Nelson got to do a live stream for that.
Yes.
His alma mater. I mean, he just been like a kid with a cookie jar, just having a ball. And that was a game that, again, we talk about you got to beat one game. You wish you could clone yourself. Oh boy, I wish I could have seen that one. So I'm waiting to check out the YouTube on that yet this week.
Yeah, definitely. Again, going back through our top 10 teams in the large school media poll, I'm Hunter Vaughn, with me, the Dean, Dennis Semrau. At number 10, Lake Geneva Badger. Number 9, the Bayport Pirates. Hamilton at 8. Number 7, Homestead, the Highlanders at number 7. Number 6, the Kimberly Papermakers. Number 5, Arrowhead. At number 4, West De Pere. Muskego, with 1 first-place vote, comes in at number 3. They move up from number 5 the previous week. Then number 2 with 4 first-place votes is Wanakee. And the new number 1 this year, the Franklin Sabres, with 8 first-place votes. Anything stand out about that? Any teams that you had maybe a little bit higher? Anything like that, Dennis?
Well, we'll talk about this where we talk about Holman. I kind of jumped the gun on them. Sometimes I think they're more of a D2, D3, a middle team, but they make our large school poll. They've had 2 close ones in conference. They beat Onalaska 19-15 2 weeks ago, and then it was 22-21 over Reedsburg, a very good team. So they're 3-0 in the conference. I think that's the team to watch. They blew out Medford. They blew out Sauk Prairie early, but they've got a pretty balanced team. They love, the triple option, though. They can run all day on you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a team to keep an eye on as we're going. Last year we had a 5-way tie in the Mississippi Valley. Not going to happen this year.
No, I don't expect that this year out of them. And another team, though, too, Nina, they were in our top 10. They fell. There's been a lot of non-conference games between a lot of these large school teams. I mean, we're going to be talking to the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, coming up. And Middleton received some votes. They lost week 1 to Bayport. Bayport's a top 10 team. A lot of these bigger schools are playing a lot of these top-end talent, and that's great one for high school football in the state, because these big schools draw the most eyes. They have the most attention, mainly because of the enrollment. But it's just really good to get these great games early in the season, plus then some of these conferences, whether it's the Classic 8 or the Badger Large being a big school conference. You get a lot of these really great games throughout the season, too, then.
Yeah, well, this week's got Appleton North, and then we talked about they got Kimberly coming up, too. So that could chance for them to drop into the poll. And Middleton's won 4 in a row since that Bayport loss, but this is the Big 8 championship that we're going to be doing on Saturday night.
I mean, Joe's not going to want us saying that.
With Middleton and Verona. Those are the 2 best teams in the league for what we've seen so far, and I don't think it's going to change.
No, I don't expect that either. As again, we've been teasing it. We'll have the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, coming up next. We will also have Nick Osen of 247 Sports a little bit later on. And drop in the YouTube chats for Daily Dodge or ESPN Madison. What games, teams, events in the area do you want the Dean and I to talk about to wrap up the show on our PrepMania on Deck segment? We will do that to wrap up the show. But the head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, joins the Dean and I next here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
It's kickoff time at Metro Kia Madison. Get ready to score big with unbeatable season-starting deals. Drive home the electrifying 2025 Kia EV6 with 0% APR for 60 months, $16.67 per $1,000 borrowed. Or go long with the all-new 2026 Kia EV9 at just 0% APR for 48 months, only $20.83 per $1,000. But hurry, these championship deals end September 30th. Visit MetroKiaMadison.com to start your winning drive today.
Well, you and I, we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to cash in this football season. Which players are going to go off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app, use code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Give me something I can feel. Light a cigarette.
Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly continues on. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. It's now time for our Midwest Financial Group Coaches Profile. The lineup at Midwest Financial Group consists of coaches for your financial world, organizing the players on your personal team. Behind every great team is a great coach. Let the Midwest Financial Group be yours for your financial planning needs. Head to mfgteam.com to get started today. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. We're now joined by the co-head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to join the Dean and I tonight.
Guys, thanks for having me.
I can't tell you how great it is for us to be able to hear you. For those that have tuned in the last few weeks, we had some technical issues with this, so great that you are able to hear us and we can hear you. So I want to start with looking back to your Week 1 game. You guys go on the road to take on the defending Division I state champions in Bayport. You lose by 3, 39-36. How have your guys now responded as you're a few weeks after a tough opening season loss?
I mean, there's been highs and lows. Obviously, Bayport's a great program. We're always happy to compete with them in the beginning of the year just because of the standard that they set. That's a good measurement. That's a good litmus test right off the bat. Really, week to week, we're just trying to get better. We're trying to be the best versions of ourselves week in and week out. We try not to look too far ahead ever. As a matter of fact, we really don't. We're trying to go 1-0 each week. That's our goal. That's our mindset. We're trying to focus on the process.
You got a quarterback last year in Joey Pasaglia who kind of surprised some people with what he did. He had a great baseball season. How did that help? Football helped the baseball, and then coming back this year, what did you see where Joey improved the most, and what's it like having him running your offense for you?
I think his intelligence is underrated. He's just a really smart kid, and we give our quarterbacks, Coach Rask gives our quarterbacks a lot of liberties in being able to check in and out of plays. He's often calling plays where there is always 2, possibly 3 options. So his intelligence helps with that. This offseason, he put on, I want to say, 10, 15, maybe even 20 pounds of muscle. He really kind of wanted to emphasize being able to be more of a running threat. And I think that's kind of come through these first few weeks. He had well over 100 yards against Bayport, and then he's been consistently getting us a handfuls of yards when necessary. So,
well, you got to be careful too. I'm taking too many hits out there, guys. But when you look at a dual threat quarterback, though, still from a passing standpoint, he's passed for over 1,000 yards, or was it about almost
1,100,
1,172? Yeah, coming in. I guess again, you talk about his mindset, but in front of him, the key was that offensive line, and somebody very near and dear to you, your son is starting center, which is cool. But you're an offensive line coach. You're a guy coming back, one starter, another guy with experience. What's it like to watch that unit from week 1 to week 5? How much they've improved?
Like you said, I've got a little bias in it, obviously, because my son is center. But at the same time, he probably takes most of my anger, so he handles it pretty well. I kind of preach. You give Joey time, you block for these running backs. We're going to be a dangerous offense, and what the most exciting part about this offensive line is watching them grow. Like, they've really bonded together. They're thinking together. They're holding each other accountable, and week in and week out, you're seeing their intelligence grow as far as the game of football is concerned.
We're joined by the head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, here on PrepMania Weekly. Now, I always like asking coaches about this when it comes to when they have one of their kids on the team. How do you guys balance that together? Like, is it you cut things off at the driveway and then you're just dad, or do you guys have any of that, or is it just kind of you guys just naturally know when you're coach and when you're dad?
Well, it's in all honesty, it's a dream come true. This is something I've been looking forward to. Dennis and I have talked about this before. Like, since both my kids are born, I also have a sophomore son, and sophomores practice with varsity. So every now and then I just get those moments where I just stop and think to myself, I've been waiting for this since they were babies. But really, a lot of credit goes to Mrs. Poehls, because she kind of helps ref and regulate things quite a bit. So I don't know where we would be without Mrs. Poehls.
That is usually the answer I get at some point whenever I bring that up, is at some point the spouse comes up of being the referee.
It works for us too, guys. We're able to do what we do. They have to understand each spouse. And again, all guys in the house, I'm sure she take the wrestling outside, boys. Right?
Yes, and she usually after football season, she gets a well-deserved break. So
as we're discussing then with your team, something I also like to ask coaches the first time that we have them on our PrepMania coverage is, besides the word winning or victory, when fans leave the stadium after watching your team play, what are 3 words that you want them describing your Middleton Cardinals team as?
In all honesty, Coach Simon and I were always preaching love. So I really want people to see how much we love our players. Sometimes love is tough love. So, people will see us yelling at our players, but it doesn't matter if they're players out on the field or players on the sideline. We want parents, fans, school community, Middleton, Cross Plains Area School District as a whole to know that we love these kids, regardless if they're, out performing excellently on the sideline or on the field, or they're on the sideline or coming into practice. Like, people don't see that every day. These kids are there, they're grinding, and we just appreciate that so much. So that's one of the things. I guess that's a lot of words, so I apologize there.
No, totally.
So love, it definitely integrity, and then definitely process. Like, we really want to focus on one practice at a time, one play at a time. So,
this past week, you guys had a 13-0 victory against Janesville Parker. That was your homecoming, and now you've got senior night as well as a rivalry game, and it's being played on a Saturday night against Verona. Do you guys talk to your guys about, there's these big things going on, this isn't necessarily a quote-unquote normal Friday night, or do you just hope that a bunch of teenagers can kind of block out the noise and still play a football game?
I mean, we preach it, but we also lean into, like I said, the guys knew I was going to be on the radio tonight. I don't keep secrets from them. It's you got to lean into it and you got to roll with the punches. Like I said, we got tonight's practice in. We're looking forward to tomorrow's practice.
Well, and you went through the homecoming last week and the Hall of Fame and all that other stuff that comes in with it. But their job was to win the football game, and they did. So that makes that dance a lot better, doesn't it?
It sure does. And it's homecoming at Middleton High School can be kind of a circus. There's a lot of things going on, and we love seeing all the different things come together, school community from that perspective on homecoming. So again, you roll with the punches, you make the best out of the situation.
As we're talking to the head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls, looking ahead now to this Verona team that you'll play on Saturday night. What are things that Verona does that you're telling your guys to watch out for, or things that they do really well that you're trying to maybe focus on?
It's not a secret that they've been very successful in the conference. Dennis reminded me they're on a how many game winning streak the other day. They've been conference champs 3 times in a row. Realistically, we tell our kids that it's most important to focus on us. They're a good defensive team. They do things on offense that work for them. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of our business.
The last, it's been 3 years, 4 years. They have a 3-game winning streak on you. 2 of those were 1-touchdown games. But a Trey Poteet, a generational player, is gone. I'm sure you were one of the coaches that probably sent him a graduation card.
No, he was a great player. I mean, probably one of the best players I've ever coached against. Yeah. But I mean, Verona's a good program. I mean, it takes how many guys out on a football field to compete. So,
and again, defense and offense. One thing we didn't talk anything about the defense. Tyler Vogt, Oliver Wenning, Reed Falk. You got a 2-time wrestling guy. I mean, you got a bunch of guys coming back that Tim Simon's working with. How big has that defense been for you since that Bayport game? How much are they growing?
Oh, they've grown immensely. And, you can't understate the leadership qualities of guys like Tyler Vogt and guys like Ollie Wenning. And if things aren't going well, they've got no problem telling coaches, players alike, hey, we got this. We'll get through it. So I've been so appreciative of how watching them grow into young men, not just boys now, because football games are emotional, and sometimes you kind of forget to practice what you preach, but then all of a sudden your kids are telling you the same things that you're saying. So that's very reassuring. So,
well, Coach, thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it, and good luck on Saturday night as you take on your rivals, the Verona Wildcats.
Thanks again for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you there.
Again, that was the head coach of the Middleton Cardinals, Joe Poehls. Again, they'll be taking on the Verona Wildcats this Saturday night. Kickoff for that game at 7:15. Dennis and I will be live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel starting at 6:30 for that game, and expecting a great game.
Get there early if you want to park within like a half a mile of the stadium. Trust me.
I was going to say, you and I might have to. I mean, you're in Cross Plains. I live in Middleton, but close enough where maybe we have to do something like the way that you do it for a Packer game, go and park in a lawn or something and then hike over, because that's how packed that stadium is. If this game is at Verona or if it's at Middleton, the stadium's packed. It's an awesome environment. I think we've done this game now 3 years in a row. This is usually one of the first ones that we schedule, is making sure, okay, where's Middleton, Verona? We're going to take that game, and then we build out everything else for the rest of our year around this game. This is the Michigan-Ohio State game, I think, of high school football in the Madison area.
It's been a big rivalry ever since Verona 2008 football season was the first year that Verona was in the Big Eight. And once Sun Prairie moved out, when they split into two schools 4 years ago, then this game became even bigger, because now this is the one that's for the conference championship, usually every year.
Coming up next here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, we'll be joined by Nick Osen of 247 Sports. We've got to talk about the Badgers and impacts that loss against Maryland could have on their recruiting, as they had a ton of recruits at Camp Randall for that game. Nick Osen of 247 Sports coming up next. Then we'll wrap up our show with our PrepMania on deck. So again, leave in the YouTube chat any game or a team that you think that Dennis and I need to talk more about, as we will wrap up Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. But first, we'll have Nick Osen of 247 Sports here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
The Midwest's best baseball players have one thing in common: GRB Academy. For 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement, producing over 468 college commits and 27 major league draft picks. Their Windsor facility has 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training space. Next up to bat is GRB's Top Prospect Camp on Sunday, October 12th, open to the high school classes of 2026 through 2029. Claim your spot now at grbacademy.com.
When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online, or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right, you want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie, and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Immediate live show streaming, a homepage customized just for you, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN.
But if you're just doing this because you're starting to not believe the Packers are going to bring in a number one wide receiver.
The ESPN Wisconsin app. Everything in the palm of your hand.
Who are the top guys?
And Dobbs.
That is the problem.
No, I totally
that is the
agree.
problem. You have never called Xavier McKinney the wrong name.
Available in the Apple and Android App Store. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today.
It's kickoff time at Metro Florida Madison, and we're bringing the heat with unbeatable truck deals. Get the 2025 F-150 Lightning with 0% APR for 72 months, $13.89 per $1,000 borrowed, or tackle any job with the 2024 F-150 or F-150 XLT, now at 2.9 APR for 66 months, $16.41 per $1,000 borrowed. These offers end September 30th, so don't fumble your chance to save. Visit MetroFloridaMadison.com and score your next truck today.
It's football season in Wisconsin and the energy is electric. Get ready to fuel up the hype with Monster Energy. With bold flavors and that legendary kick, Monster gives you the power to go all 4 quarters. Whether you're tailgating before the big game, watching with friends at home, or catching every play at your favorite spot. Because game day isn't just about football. It's about bringing the energy wherever you are. Stop by your local Piggly Wiggly to pick up a Monster Energy drink today. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
The people have spoken, and the results are undeniable. Ridgetop Exteriors delivers. We swept the People's Choice Awards. Best roofing, best siding, best windows, and best overall home improvement company. That's not just winning, that's setting the standard with expert craftsmanship, top materials, and service that keeps homeowners coming back. 4 categories, 4 wins, 1 name. Ridgetop Exteriors, your only choice for home exteriors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com and experience the difference today.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Hey, it's Isaac Miller, junior defensive end in high school. 14 Division I offers. Yep, 1-4. Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Miami, you name it. Everyone's asking, where's Isaac going? Well, I'll tell you this. It's going to be big, it's going to be loud, and it's going to be legendary. But first, I'm hitting the weight room in my Iron Jock gear. Because no matter what logo I wear next, Iron Jock is how I get there. Stay tuned and go to ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Planning a corporate event, private party, or team outing? Madison acts as your state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Whoa, you nailed it! Featuring 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, and interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard. 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Book your corporate event or holiday party now, before their lanes fill up. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
This is PrepMania Weekly here on ESPN Madison. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We're now joined by Nick Osen of 247 Sports. Nick, thank you for taking the time to join the Dean and I tonight.
Absolutely, guys. I've been looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me back.
We love having you back, and especially after I saw that there was going to be a bunch of recruits at this Wisconsin-Maryland game, and then given the result, as well as the fans booing the team and the coach, and then the Fire Fickle stuff, felt like, maybe we should have a conversation about recruiting again and get our friend of the show, Nick, on. So that's what I wanted to start with you, Nick. Does all of that happened on Saturday, not just the loss, but then the fans booing and the Fire Fickle chants, are we going to see another negative kind of hit to recruiting when it comes to this team, especially like you guys right now have the Badgers class for next year at 59th overall? Like, should we be concerned as fans about this?
Yeah, guys, so I think the way to kind of look at that, obviously some of those things, the chants and, kind of the anger, frustration, they're not ideal, obviously. But, so far, from my understanding, just checking in with a couple guys, asking people or just kind of seeing some of their social media the last few days, I think as of now, things are still pretty locked in. Now, obviously there is, unfortunately in some ways, a long way to go, right, to signing day. And so you have to kind of monitor these things. But I think I want to give some credit, even in the wake of obviously some tough things, including Saturday. This staff and recruiting department, I do think they've done a really, really good job with a couple things. I think these relationships, and I can tell you, having spoken with like the whole class and even seeing some out there in person, I think that they're really good forming those relationships and kind of being really, really tight and close with these guys and their families. Number two, guys, I think one may be positive, right, if you have to kind of find one or look for something. Some of these young guys are playing already. I think of a Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano, Eugene Hilton Jr., some of the second-year guys. So I do think that's a legitimate pitch. Now, obviously, if this kind of struggle goes on for really another month or two, it's definitely worth following and monitoring. But so far, I think that the staff has done a great job. I know that a couple guys that, teams were kind of going after maybe a month or so ago, still pretty locked in. You never say never, of course, guys, in this day and age. But so far, I would lean no for now.
What does it look like from the state standpoint? That's the one thing, Coach Alvarez always said, you got to put that wall around the state. And since this group has come in, we've lost guys to, Joe Rudolph's over at Notre Dame. You got Bostad at Indiana, Bielema down in Illinois. We've lost somebody to Minnesota. I want to kid went to Iowa. Well, that was kind of a mitigating circumstance. His family was there. But we've lost these big linemen. What does it look like for the future? How much emphasis are they putting on the Wisconsin guys?
Yeah, Dennis, so they're putting on really a huge emphasis, which is the kind of notable thing with the class of 2027. I wouldn't say that as much in 2026. You've obviously got linebacker Ben Wenzel in the class right now. But that is kind of the interesting thing, right? I did kind of a story. I believe they have offers out to, I think, 6 guys, but really recruiting 7 or 8 in that class of 27. 5 or 6 of them were there over the weekend. I checked in with a couple guys, specifically Kors Loken, the great 4-star tight end out of Iola, Scandinavia. And, again, a lot of good things to say. I would tell you, what I will say, Dennis, maybe a potential negative from Saturday is maybe guys that have been really leaning Badgers or, this guy could be an early potential commitment. I do think performances like that maybe kind of stew guys to take a little bit more time. I know that some of the guys, I'm thinking of guys like Cole Ryder, Ethan McIntosh, obviously right down the road in Verona. I still think they're going to take some more visits, but speaking with Loken and Isaac Miller recently, the Mallinger twins, I don't think one game changes things, which I think is really fortunate. I think these guys are just looking for that long-term stability, the relationships like I mentioned, and the potential within these systems. So I think all of those things are still trending for them. However, this is a very, very important month, this next month, as we know, guys, not just for the in-state guys or 2026, but for this team themselves. I know when we spoke, I think it was in August, we talked a little bit about the schedule and said October was the gauntlet. You hope to get into that at 3-1. Obviously now it's going to be 2-2 getting in, see how they kind of bounce back after this bye week.
Well, you mentioned some of the stability. Let's kind of go down the hypothetical here. If maybe the university listens to what some of the fans want and what they were chanting and Luke Fickell gets fired, what are the ramifications then when it comes to recruiting? Because I feel like we're probably just going to be starting all over again, and then you'd have a new coaching group trying to build all of those relationships all over again, and we're just going to be in another tough spot going down the road. Could this get really bad if they do decide to, like the fans want, maybe fire Fickell?
Yeah, Hunter, I'll go a couple ways with that. First off, obviously there's some frustration, and we heard that from the fans. I don't think that's the feeling of everybody, but I know that obviously the upcoming month is really important. I'm somebody that believes that he and the staff do deserve more time, certainly, just with kind of some of the luck they've had, the turnover and things of that nature. But that said, if they were to make a decision in that fashion, yeah, there would be certainly ramifications in recruiting because people love Wisconsin, they love the Badgers, but these kids that are signed on or planning to sign on to come here, so much of that, guys, is because of Fickell, his staff, this recruiting department, and all that they have done. So I would say unequivocally, if that were to happen, there'd be major concerns. And then, like Dennis asked about with, in-state guys in the 2027, if something like that happened, that would basically set the university back a full year plus with forming some of these relationships. Because, again, I'm checking in with these players every week, essentially different players, and, targets, commits. They love Wisconsin, they love Madison, but it's always about the relationships, right? The staff, the messages they give me, these guys check in with my family. That stuff all matters. So I would absolutely warn that if something like that happened, the ramifications would be very notable, Hunter, certainly.
Well, something, too, that I've had a number of different coaches mention to me at the high school level was that they feel like they wish that they saw more of Luke Fickell and the coaching staff in their buildings, coming to see the kids at the schools and things like that. Is that something that you're hearing from whether it's the recruits here in the state of Wisconsin or even other recruits that, like, the coaching staff, they're coming into these schools, or is that something that they're still kind of lacking from actually going to the schools?
Yeah, Hunter, I would certainly push back on that. I mean, a lot of what I do is covering, coaches on the road. Who are they going to see? And I think the world of kind of the coaches, the high school guys within this state, I have great relationships with many of them. So I don't want to, it's kind of a balancing act there. However, these staffs, they go to some of the schools where they are obviously looking at D1 targets, right? Power conference targets. Some schools have them, some do not. I will say I think that this staff has done a lot better job, though, of that the last two cycles. Maybe it wasn't kind of the biggest realization early, kind of right before I got here. But I can tell you very certainly, Hunter, I just keep going back to Dennis's question. Like, obviously, we speak with people around the program. We speak to their families. I just think of, like, Germantown, Catholic Memorial, Sussex Hamilton. Sure, relationships have had to come over time, but they are absolutely putting in the effort. They just did like a in-state blitz, a couple weeks ago, and they saw a bunch of in-state targets. So I understand maybe not coming to every school, that you're not going to go to every school if guys aren't necessarily at that level, and there's always room to grow. But I would actually argue as long as things continue to trend as I see them in the class of 2027, people's minds might change a little bit. I mean, they've offered almost every ranked player within the state right now in this cycle, guys.
Yeah, the other thing is we having a Casey Robach on staff, former Badgers. How big is it? The first year they didn't have anybody on the staff that had the Wisconsin ties. But has there been more of an effort to get more Wisconsin former players or connections there to help with that in-state recruiting who've had those previous ties?
Yeah, I think Casey Robach is a phenomenal example, Dennis. Obviously a homegrown Badger, went on to play in the NFL, was a really good player for a long time. I think he's a great example. Another guy I'll mention is Jared Thompson in the recruiting department, like Zach Zilm, who was here and is now with the Raiders. These guys are homegrown. Even if they didn't play for Wisconsin, went to school here or played high school ball within the state, and they have those types of ties or they work those relationships. So, like I said, there's always room to grow, but I don't think there's a doubt in my mind, Dennis, that it has been a major focus. And even just checking in with people around the program and donors the last few weeks, they've talked about, even if they're disappointed with some of what they've seen on the field, they know what is going on within that class of 2027. That is kind of, Dennis, we talked about it in person about basketball too, right. I remember this summer. That is kind of the crown jewel class, right, for football and hoops. So I believe Fickell and the staff are doing a great job with it. Obviously, I know a lot of fans are looking for, hey, we'd love to see a commit or two. I think kind of some of the on-field stuff right now is maybe pushing that backwards a little bit. But in terms of those in-state relationships, they've been improved. I can say that comfortably. You're not going to get every guy in the state, whether it's somebody you're going for or some that they've chosen maybe not to pursue as much, or they're not kind of as worried when they go to other spots. But certainly, I think there's some work being done about that wall right now, like you said.
Now, the last time that you joined Dennis and I, it was back in the summer, and you teased that somebody would be committing pretty soon. And that ended up being Amari Latimer, the 4-star running back from Georgia. So I've got to ask you, and I feel like this is just going to become what I ask you every time you join our show, is there anybody that you can tease to kind of maybe get us excited, some 5-star D end we're not expecting, something like that?
Man, a good call. Great callback. That is one of the guys that I teased. That was spot on. I actually said, to look out for a couple of flips this fall, and you just saw one yesterday too, Hunter. So that was kind of a 2-for-1 there, my friend, with cornerback Donovan Dunmore. What I will say is I expect them to continue to add to their secondary. They've got a safety coming in next month that I'll keep it a little bit vague. Committed to another program, but he will be coming to Madison for a visit, as well as defensive end Yaya God, currently uncommitted. Now he's committed to a couple schools prior, but actually UCLA just lost their coach, of course, so he decommitted from there. Wisconsin's in the race. Georgia Tech, Florida State deep in there, a couple other schools, Colorado's in the mix. So we will see, but that's when I can give you potential good news in the future, my friend.
I like it. And then, Dennis, I know you were itching to get to some basketball questions. You're kind of over the college football season.
Well, we talked to the new women's basketball coach was at our Madison Sports Hall of Fame luncheon today, and they start practice on Friday, getting fired up, and I'm thinking, okay, what about the guys? But, again, some names on the radar, anything that you think that's going to pop out here pretty quick, because we got that early signing, day in November for basketball.
Yeah, Dennis, so not necessarily, any huge things there in the recruiting world. It's funny, I actually have a story coming out with LaTravion Fenderson, just had his official visit.
Awesome.
So
that's
that'll
what I
be
want
out here soon. Obviously, an in-state commit. But in terms of just recruiting in general, I definitely have some nuggets. I recently went out to see Team Hero with a lot of those in-state targets, and Wisconsin and Greg Gard doing a really nice job lining up quick visits for these guys. Again, the crown jewel class. I've been around people in the state that tell me this is the best in-state class they've ever seen, Dennis, class of 2027 hoops. So it's pretty special. I'm really intrigued. Donovan Davis, the top 40 kid, was here recently. Dooney Johnson, Jaylen Brown, they're all slated to visit here soon. And then with the current Badgers team, Dennis, I won't hide my excitement. I think that team could be the one to break kind of the Sweet 16-less streak. And I don't know if you saw some of our coverage. We spoke with Greg Gard on Friday after they were running the hill. Even he is pretty pumped about this team. You can really see it in these interviews. So I'm really excited for that. Enjoying, most of football, certainly the recruiting, and we'll continue to build with our coverage there. But that basketball could be a pretty special season if everybody can stay healthy.
Well, as a Marquette fan, I'm not too fond of that, but I still appreciate your time, Nick. It's always great having you on. We love all of your insight on this. You've got great information. So, Nick, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Guys, I love chopping it up with you. Thank you so much for having me, and we'll catch up here later this fall.
Well, I'll see you in the press box in a couple of weeks, buddy.
You bet. Appreciate you, Dennis.
Again, that was Nick Osen of 247 Sports breaking down some of the recruiting and some of the concerns. I feel like he lifted a little bit of a weight off my shoulders, Dennis. I was getting a little concerned. You have a bunch of recruits. It's a big recruiting visit weekend at Camp Randall, and I feel a lot better now if he's the one talking to these recruits and their families and their high school coaches, and it seems like so far it didn't have a huge effect on it, but I'm still got a little bit of concern going forward.
Guys want to play. We saw Catalano last year in high school. I went, God, I hope he can get on the field in Posa. I can't wait to see those guys. Are they going to have to wait a year or two? No, they're playing now. That's great. So these guys are coming in going, again, the superb athletes, they have so much confidence. They kind of block some of that stuff out. And they say, it's going to be different if I come here. And that's the pitch Wisconsin has. You want to play, you're going to have opportunities. And that's why some programs, now if you don't play the first year or two, you're in the portal. You're always looking for somewhere else. Are you stuck behind a guy that might be an All-American? You don't want to wait your turn. Well, you got opportunities here. And again, this recruiting, the one thing I have to give the Fickle group a lot of credit for is recruiting has changed so much in the last couple of years. The way they're going after and they're making the approach. Now, they haven't put that wall around the state, and we've lost guys. That's the part I don't like because, again, I'm pro-Barry from that. But, again, they are reaching out around the country, and they are in a lot more homes and doing their due diligence, and that they've expanded the department. fans don't realize how much goes in. It's not the coaches. It's all the social media people and the people making the calls and keeping track of everything and doing all the scheduling. There are a lot of bodies behind the scenes. They've actually amped that up, and that I'm really happy for. But we haven't seen it on the field yet.
And that's the thing. I think they've amped that up, one, compared to what Paul Christ was doing, which was, from everything that I have heard, was virtually nothing, to actually doing the recruiting. And now hearing from Nick saying, no, I'm hearing they've got coaches going to these schools. It just might not be necessarily always the schools that would normally expect to have them. And I think, too, something that I've reminded some people when they've gotten upset about the lack of those in-state recruits, and something Nick said was that they're going after some guys that they feel like are better from Texas or Florida or Ohio or Pennsylvania, California, who they're not a Wisconsin guy, but they grade out better than what some of these other recruits are. But I think, like Nick said, and it sounds like this class of 2027, one, I think they might do really well here in the state, which would be great for you and the Tom Oates of the world that just want the Wisconsin kids to stay here at Wisconsin. But then, two, could really help things.
You're not going to get everybody. You want the top ones. You want them saying, "Is Wisconsin in the mix?" I remember Ben Bredesen going to Michigan, and wow, we wanted to keep in here, but he had connection with the family.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. We can understand that, but you just want to know they're in and they're competitive, because when you recruit all these from out of state, they don't have that tie that if things go bad, they're going to hit the portal. Whereas some of the local guys, because they've grown up with Badger blood, and, they're going to maybe give it a second chance or stick longer. It's key to watch coming up here when that portal opens up again, what happens in the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely is something we'll be keeping an eye on. We've got one more segment to go here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, and we'll then wrap things up with our PrepMania on deck. Again, comment below on the YouTube chat. Let us know, what game do you want us to talk about? What game or teams do you think we should be talking about, the Dean and I? And we'll do that next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania on deck. This is PrepMania Weekly on the ESPN Madison and on Daily Dodge YouTube.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Bring your family out to the next Forward Madison FC game. Their family special, sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric, is the perfect budget-friendly option for any families to enjoy professional soccer in Madison. For just $21, get your game ticket, plus a meal and scarf. Get your family together and come cheer on the Mingos as they make their playoff push. Head to forwardmadisonfc.com to learn more and get your tickets today. That's forwardmadisonfc.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's kickoff time at Metro Kia Madison. Get ready to score big with unbeatable season-starting deals. Drive home the electrifying 2025 Kia EV6 with 0% APR for 60 months, $16.67 per $1,000 borrowed. Or go long with the all-new 2026 Kia EV9 at just 0% APR for 48 months, only $20.83 per $1,000. But hurry, these championship deals end September 30th. Visit MetroKiaMadison.com to start your winning drive today.
When you've been seriously injured, you need a trusted team on your side. Gruber Law Offices is available 24/7 and will even come to you. Your first call is free. Your first visit is free. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We ask and you answer. Tune in to Jim, Matt, and Molly every weekday 4 to 6 and follow at Jim, Matt, Molly on X to vote in daily poll questions presented by Siding Unlimited. Trust Siding Unlimited with your next window and door project.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde here to let you know Steinhoffels is celebrating 91 years as Wisconsin's furniture and mattress leader. So join Tausch, Jesse, and me as we broadcast from Steinhoffels off the Beltline on the west side of Madison this Friday. Stop by and take a quick test rest on a mattress in store, and Steinhoffels will donate $20 to Special Spaces Wisconsin, and you'll receive a $20 restaurant gift card. Wilde and Tausch live at Steinhoffels this Friday. Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm
Finishing up Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. And it is now time for our Zimbrick Honda PrepMania on deck. Dennis, you've got a big cross-country meet that you picked for your event coming up.
Oh, the Midwest Invitational down in Janesville. It's at the Blackhawk Golf Course. I've covered it in the past. 86th annual coming up. They had over 3,000 runners there last year. You've got runners from out of state. They've had teams come up from Texas for this meet, and it's just phenomenal. So we're going to see some of the best teams, hoping to have a shot to get up and individuals up in Wisconsin Rapids, come the end of the season.
Yeah, I loved the big cross-country meets. I ran cross-country in high school. They're so much fun. The ground shaking at the start. It's a ton of fun. It's not the best spectator sport. If you plan it right, given the way the courses lay out, you might see the runners 2 or 3 times among the 5K that they run, but it's still just a really cool thing if you're competing in it.
Well, it's fun watching the families trying to run. And when I was at the Cap Times, we had vantage points, and I'd go to like 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. A little bit too old for that now. Yeah. But it's fun to watch the families run with video cameras here and there and trying to get shots. And then just talking to the kids afterwards, the 2 things that really stand out. One, they always stay and cheer for the last runner to finish.
Yep.
And they always get hugs. And the other is watching the kids hang out afterwards, just talking. Again, common pain having to run that course.
Yeah.
But also the academics and it's boys, girls competing, and a lot of the teams travel together and stuff. So it's just a lot of sportsmanship, and you see some kids really giving it their all out there, and other kids just plugging away. Maybe they're in a sport like basketball and they're trying to stay in shape, or they're swimmers. A lot of swimmers will run cross country in the fall too. So,
yep.
I mean,
that's what I did.
Again, this is a great sport. To watch in the fall until the weather gets really bad, and then you want to bundle up.
Yeah, definitely. As long as it's good weather, it's great. Once it gets cold and rainy and everything, then it's awful. My event, I got to go with a football game. Lake Mills taking on Lodi. Huge game in the Capital Conference. A ton of implications when it comes to conference titles, whether if Lake Mills loses this game, that puts Columbus in complete control of that conference then, given that Lake Mills will have a chance against Columbus, but then you've got the 1 loss. So that's one of those games where I think there's a ton riding on this game, because Lodi already lost 42-7 to Columbus. So if they want to try and win a conference title, they can't afford to lose another game here. Otherwise, they're going to be done.
Yeah, they need to beat Lake Mills, and then Lake Mills beat Columbus, and there's your three-way tie because they are the three best teams in the conference right now.
Definitely. And then one other one, we got to talk about it too. Our game on Friday night as we're wrapping up here.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. I've been teasing it the whole time. Saturday night, 7:15 kickoff, 6:30 pregame coverage. Dennis and I will be live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. The rivalry in the Big Eight, Verona and Middleton. Like we said, we expect this game to basically be a conference title game. These two teams do not like each other. They're not separated by very much. It's like a 15-minute drive between the two schools, and I expect this to be a great game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, though, but last year I said there'd be a ton of points scored, and it was a defensive battle, so what do I know?
Well, a few years ago, it was the over-under on personal foul penalties was 5. They've cleaned it up a little bit on the social media, too, so I think it's going to be a pretty good battle.
Definitely. As we finish up, this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, also brought to you by Pizza Hut, and they're introducing their new handcrafted personal flats pizzas. Enjoy bold recipes like Nashville Hot Chicken, Pepperoni Duo, 3 Cheese Ultimate, and Chicken Bacon Ranch. $5 each all day long. Order online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, the official pizza of PrepMania. No one out-pizzas the Hut. For the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, and for our producer, Owen Dimfel, I am Hunter Vaughn. Thank you so much for tuning in to PrepMania Weekly. Again, the Dean and I will be back on Saturday night for Verona and Middleton. This has been Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right, you want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie, and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
It's football season in Wisconsin and the energy is electric. Get ready to fuel up the hype with Monster Energy. With bold flavors and that legendary kick, Monster gives you the power to go all 4 quarters. Whether you're tailgating before the big game, watching with friends at home, or catching every play at your favorite spot. Because game day isn't just about football. It's about bringing the energy wherever you are. Stop by your local Piggly Wiggly to pick up a Monster Energy drink today. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
It's kickoff time at Metro Florida Madison, and we're bringing the heat with unbeatable truck deals. Get the 2025 F-150 Lightning with 0% APR for 72 months, $13.89 per $1,000 borrowed, or tackle any job with the 2024 F-150 or F-150 XLT, now at 2.9 APR for 66 months, $16.41 per $1,000 borrowed. These offers end September 30th, so don't fumble your chance to save. Visit MetroFloridaMadison.com and score your next truck today.
Time now for a special ESPN Wisconsin presentation.
A drive, left center, deep, see you later!
This is our crew.
It's a really fun team to be a part of, especially when you see young players take strides to get better.
Here's the throw from Perkins. It is going to be in time! Game over!
Young energy, hungry players make managers look good.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, Revive Restoration, Bergstrom Chevrolet, Starion Bank, The Pfister Hotel, Canopy Wealth Management, Stoughton Health, Wisconsin Surplus, Metro Kia and Metro Ford of Madison, and Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. This is Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Madison's new home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
Field hit a ton. We're tied.
It's time for baseball on the Brewers Radio Network, presented by American Family Insurance. Tonight, the Crew are out west in San Diego.